All right, hi everybody. This is going to be an unedited show, podcast-ish like thing. No, all right, try it again. Hey, hey everybody. Kevin, Busan Kevin was talking with Jason, Taisha Jason, on the Just Japan podcast a couple days ago about driving in Japan. I had to get out and run a few errands, so I figured might as well show you what it's like to drive in Japan. With a little luck, you can actually see out the front window, and I'm going to have to probably go through and blur that person's license plate in front of me, although they haven't done anything bad yet, but we'll see. There's still plenty of time. But those two were talking a little bit about getting a driver's license in Japan and stuff like that. So I figured it'd be a good time to tell my driver's license story. I've had my license now for a few years here, and it is always a little stressful driving even between the cities. I really hate driving downtown Osaka. Downtown Kyoto is a little bit better, but not much. Traffic is not light today, but it's not horrible either. With luck, I'll be able to get home before the sun goes down, so I don't have to worry about lighting, although this camera's supposed to be good for low light situations. We'll see. This is what it's like on the road. Of course, I happen to hit it right at 5 o'clock, which is not necessarily rush hour, but there's a fair amount more traffic than in the middle of the afternoon. And this is Route 1 that runs between Kyoto and Osaka. I had to run up and get some electronic stuff. There's a Yodobashi camera right by Kyoto Station, so I'm coming in from that way. But when I got my driver's license, I had been driving for, 20 years, and I had to go back 5 times, so it's a real pain in the butt. If you are from Canada, you are lucky, and those guys were speculating as to why you don't have to take the license, the driving test, if you're from Canada, or if you have a license from Korea and have stayed in Korea for a particular amount of time. I can't remember, a year or 2 years, I can't remember. But it's partially because of how the U.S. states do their licenses, because it's not a central government issue in the states. They do it state by state, and because there's no consistency between the reporting for accidents and stuff like that, because there's no consistency for reporting on accidents and stuff, that was the reason that it was explained to me. I did convert my license. I do not actually at this time hold a U.S. license, and so when I go back to the States, I have to get an international driver's license to drive legally in the U.S. So, yay. But yeah, it took me 5 times. I passed the paper test, the written test immediately, but basically the way that the system works here is if you make one mistake is right at the edge, the third mistake, anyway, it's one of those two, completely drops you out. You fail, you drive back, and then you switch places and let somebody else drive. One of the bad things about this system is you are in the car with 3 other people who are taking the test. So if you are not first, you get the advantage of watching the course and seeing how the tester, what they're looking for, and you can see when other people fail what you should watch for. However, the downside for that is if the person before you makes the tester angry, that means you are now dealing with an angry tester. So, yeah, there was one, I think the 3rd time I took the test, that was my situation. It was not so fun. But I almost made it. And once you get past all of the stuff, it's still part of the test. Please don't hit me. It's still part of the test, but the test goes until you actually get out of the car. So as soon as you pull in and stop, the tester's like, you're still in the test, you're still in the test, you're still in the test. Because you have to turn the car off, take off your seatbelt, check the mirror before you open the door, then open the door, then get out of the car, then the test is over. And it's because if you aren't paying attention when you get out of your car here, they can hit you, and it's not good. Like I said, I'm not going to do much editing, so I apologize for the coughs and sniffles, but it's wintertime in Japan, so what do you want? In general, driving in Japan is not horrible, and it's certainly driving in Kyoto and Osaka is no worse than driving in Chicago and Detroit. Actually, Detroit's pretty easy. The roads are really wide. But downtown Osaka, this is the same kind of roads that you get. 2 to 4 lanes going in one direction, and alleys that are really cars have no business being on, being 2-way streets. Yeah, that's no fun. Traffic is moving pretty well, and nobody's doing anything particularly stupid today. So, yay. But this particular stretch of highway is not going to have much in the way of scooters on it. And the scooters here are the bane of my existence. Oh, they're terrible. It's like they're trying to get hit or killed. Just doing stupid things. Oh, cutting in and out of traffic. And the police don't stop them for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand it, but for the most part, drivers here are a bit more polite than they are in most places. People will actually let you in when you're trying to turn and get back onto the road, like coming out of a parking lot and such. But they do some foolish things sometimes. They occasionally scare the hell out of me. So in case you haven't guessed, this is not going to be the most coherent episode that I've put out, but you know, whatever. So I'm not entirely sure what the camera can see. I don't think you can catch the top of the glass where the street signs are, but to get on the toll roads, they have a green sign, green section. Everything else, everything in blue is regular highways. And the traffic is pretty strong right now. But everything's moving, and that's always a good sign. So what else about driving? I always double check when I'm getting ready to go through a light. I actually do the same thing that the train guys do. I point at the green light so that I am aware that I can see that it's a green light or it's going yellow or whatever, or there's an arrow, because they have, and I don't understand this either, they'll have traffic lights where the light is red, but there's a green arrow going straight, left, and right. So you can go straight, left, and right, but the main light is red. So I don't really understand that at all. But so you have to pay a fair amount of attention. And gas is up to $1.65 a liter. So, 3.6 liters per gallon? I'll let you do the math. So if you multiply it times 4, about $6 a gallon-ish. Somewhere in there. But yeah, driving here is not too bad. The killer things are, you have to really pay attention to what's going on around you. It's a little bit stressful if you're not out on the freeway or the highway or the toll road, limited access roads. My car insurance guy came by yesterday, or the other day actually. Anyway, and it was the big snowstorm for Osaka as well. And I wanted to go to Costco, but I told him, oh, there's no way I'm going to Costco today. He's like, why? Are you worried that you won't be able to drive? You have like snow tires and 4-wheel drive, right? Yeah, but I'm not worried about me. I know I can drive in the snow. I've done it before. And, 15 minutes or so, and I will dial back to snow-style driving. But I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the other people, because just like a lot of people saw in the southern U.S., Atlanta and stuff like that, if you're not accustomed to driving in snow, it takes a little getting used to. You have to really readjust braking distance between cars and stuff like that. I wonder if this guy's going to try to get over. Doesn't look like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean he won't. But anyway, so I'm like, there's no way I'm driving today. The only issue that I've had so far is when the woman on the scooter smashed herself into the front of my car from the side. So, because she was white lining up the side, her traffic was stopped, and I was cutting in to turn into a driveway, and she hit the side of the car at, I don't know, 20 kilometers an hour, so 15, 20 miles an hour, and she popped right up onto the roof and onto the hood of the car, and fortunately she wasn't hurt. Wow, that dude ran right up to that little move. Anyway, and scared the hell out of me, but fortunately didn't end up. The way the insurance works is I'm from Michigan, and so we have no fault insurance, and so you don't have to assign fault. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I don't know. I'd have to be back there and deal with it to find out. But here, everybody gets some fault, and because my car was biggest, I got the most. So I was not terribly pleased about that, but there was little I could do. It doesn't seem to have affected my insurance, though. They do have a rating system for driver's licenses here that we don't have back in the States. When you first get your license here, there's a colored bar on the license that says either your birthday or the expiration date. I can't remember which. But anyway, when you first get your license, it's green. And then after you've renewed your license once, it's blue. And if you have no moving violations for 5 years, it becomes gold. So if you have a gold license, it means you are a safe driver, or in the vernacular, a safety driver, which drives me crazy. Anyway, and you get a discount on your car insurance. And this car can only be driven by people over 35. If somebody under 35 drives my car, the insurance does not cover that driver, actually. So, but all of that together means my monthly output for my car is for my insurance is actually sleepy. Very, very reasonable. Maybe $400 a year, $500 a year or less. But I don't use the car that much. And in the big city, a car is a detriment. Because it costs quite a bit. If you don't have a parking space with your apartment or with your house, renting a parking space can be very, very expensive. Up to $200 a month. Come on, baby. Keep going. There you go. Up to $200 a month. I've not seen one. I've heard of them for $50 a month. But I've never seen one advertised for that price. Cheapest around my place is around $80. Fortunately, my place comes with parking, and my car fits it, which is also important. So that's good. In order to own a car, oopsie, now that scooter just tried to white line in front of that car, and that car was turning, and the scooter wasn't paying any attention, and almost got greased. Old man, he should know better. Anyway. Oh wow, they're getting that place. So it's good. It's not the parking places. So the one thing about parking is if you're going to buy a car, you have to bring to the dealership proof that you have a parking spot. And if you can't prove you have a parking spot, you can't buy the car. And then you have to go register your parking spot with the police. And whenever you move, you have a certain amount of time to notify the police of change of parking. And the parking spot must be within, I forget, 2 kilometers of your house, of your registered home, for it to be okay. So, there's that. Alright, kids, I think I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. Fortunately, nothing exciting happened while I was driving, which is always the best way to be driving, when nothing exciting happens. Traffic, in general, traffic is a little heavy. Right now it's a little heavier than when I went up to Kyoto, but it's not horrible. Come on, baby. Clear the intersection for me. There you go. There you go. Hi. Yeah, you get occasionally stupid things that people do, but for the most part, it's not horrible. People are pretty friendly, and like I said, you can pull out in front of somebody. That's the one thing that's really different. In the US, if you pull out in front of somebody and they hit you, you're at fault. Whereas in Japan, if you pull out in front of somebody and they hit you, it's their fault too. But actually, in a lot of cases, it's going to be more their fault than it is your fault. So, yeah. So you have to be a little careful with stuff like that. So you just assume, you drive along and you just assume that somebody's going to do something stupid, and then you're ready for it. And it's not too bad. It's a little cold for the motorcyclists to be out, although snow doesn't even really seem to stop them. But the thing with the motorcycle people, man, motorcycles are cool and all, but they drive them here like they don't want to live anymore. Cutting back and forth between cars and traffic and weaving in and out, and it makes me do mean things. Like if I check my rearview mirror and I see a dude coming up, I will move the car over and kind of cut him off a little bit so that he can't get through. I know, it's bad. But alright, I'm going to wrap this. So, this was kind of a stream of consciousness thing this time. So, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and like and check me out on Google Plus, and I'm on Twitter, and I actually didn't put any Snapchat stuff up today. That's too bad. Maybe I will do that when I get home. See if I can go find something to take pictures of. Outside of that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all later.